Every morning we have a chance and a choice. A chance to start again and a choice about what we're going to do with the life in front of us. What you choose today matters. But eventually, every life becomes someone else's legacy. Welcome back to Legacy Lines Podcast. I'm your host, Jay. Have you ever looked at something happening in your family and thought, this has been going on for way too long? Not one argument, not one bad decision. I'm talking about a pattern. Something you can trace maybe from you to your parents, and sometimes even further than that, to their parents. Different people, different houses, different decades, same problem. Maybe the men don't talk. Maybe the women carry everything. Maybe everybody knows somebody has a drinking problem, but nobody says it. Maybe fathers provide, but don't know how to connect. Maybe mothers sacrifice everything and eventually resent everybody they sacrificed it for. Maybe everybody gets married, but nobody seems happy. Maybe people disappear when things get difficult. Maybe anger is normal. Maybe affection isn't. Maybe everybody knows how to survive, but nobody knows how to rest. And eventually, somebody has to ask the question, how long are we going to keep doing this? Because there's something I've been thinking about for a long while. We talk a lot about generational curses, and I understand what people mean when they say that. I truly do. But sometimes what we call a generational curse is a generational pattern nobody interrupted. Something happened, people adapted, that adaptation became normal, and normal became tradition, and tradition got handed to somebody who never knew why it started in the first place. Until eventually somebody has to be the last one. The last one who handles conflict that way. The last one who disappears emotionally. The last one who believes providing money is the same thing as providing love. The last one who stays quiet because that's what everybody before them did. The last one who passes anger down as discipline. The last one who confuses control with protection. The last one who says, that's just how our family is. Maybe it was, but that doesn't mean it has to stay that way. Here's what makes family patterns so difficult to recognize. When you're born into something, you don't have anything to compare it to. It's just home. You don't know your family doesn't communicate. You don't know at all. You just know everybody gets quiet when somebody gets mad. You don't know affection is missing. You just know nobody says I love you. You don't know everybody is walking on eggshells. You just know how to read the room before you say anything. You don't call that a coping mechanism. You're 7. You are just learning. Don't do that when dad's mad. Don't bring up that around mom. Don't ask about that person. Don't tell anybody what happened here. Children are incredible observers, and they don't always understand what they're seeing, but they're learning from it anyway. And that's how something can travel through a family without anybody intentionally passing it down. Nobody has to sit a child down and teach emotional distance. They can watch it. Nobody has to teach them that conflict means yelling. They can hear it. Nobody has to teach them that vulnerability is dangerous. they can see what happens when somebody shows it. And what they observe became what they know, and what they know can become what they repeat. Eventually, you're not the kid watching anymore, right? You're the adult somebody else is watching. That changes everything, because now your reactions are teaching somebody. Your relationships are teaching somebody. Your silence is teaching somebody. The way you apologize or don't is teaching somebody. The way you handle disagreement, the way you treat people when you're angry, the way you speak about yourself, the way you treat the person you claim to love, somebody is learning from it. And it may not even be your child. It could be your niece, your nephew, your younger sibling, your friend, somebody you mentor, somebody who watches how you move through the world and thinks that's what adulthood looks like. That's when legacy stops being something we talk about leaving somebody. We're leaving it right now. And listen, I'm not sitting here talking about this like I've figured it all out, because I surely haven't. Anybody that knows me knows I'm far from figuring out anything, because I go through it. I've had moments where I've heard myself responding to something and later thought, where did that come from? And sometimes I knew exactly where it came from, because there are things you learn early that become automatic. It's ways of protecting yourself, ways of responding, ways of shutting down, ways of staying in control. And some of those things might have served you once as well. That's the part I think we have to be fair about. Not every unhealthy pattern started because somebody was trying to hurt somebody. Sometimes people were surviving. Sometimes a father learned emotional distance because nobody ever taught him what to do with emotion. Sometimes a mother became controlling because chaos taught her that control felt safe. Sometimes somebody became hard because being soft had consequences. Sometimes people learn not to trust because trusting the wrong person cost them something, and something dearly. You can understand that. You can have compassion for that. You can even forgive that. But understanding why something started doesn't mean you have to keep doing it. It really doesn't. That's where responsibility enters the room. I think this is where conversations about generational patterns sometimes go wrong too. We start looking backward, and suddenly we're putting everybody on trial. Your parents did this, your grandparents did that. Somebody failed somebody. Somebody should have known better. Maybe. But blame isn't really the point, because blame can explain where something came from without changing where it's going. Responsibility is different, right? Because responsibility says, I may not have started this, but now that I can see it, what am I going to do? That's a completely different question. Because you can spend the rest of your life explaining why you are the way you are, and completely be accurate. You can connect every dot. You can explain every wound, every relationship, every defense mechanism, every reaction, and still never change. You saw it all and still never change. Awareness isn't transformation, but it's the opportunity for transformation. Because at some point, I learned this from them has to become, what am I going to do now that I know? And there's another thing. We make breaking generational cycles sound huge, like one day you're going to stand up, give some speech, and generations of dysfunction are going to fall off your family tree. No, 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 no. Usually it doesn't happen like that. Usually it's much quieter. I promise you, sometimes breaking a generational pattern looks like apologizing to your child. Simple. I was wrong. And maybe nobody ever said that to you, but you say it. Sometimes it's telling somebody you love them, and sometimes it's leaving a relationship everybody expects you to tolerate. Sometimes it's learning how to disagree without being cruel. Sometimes it's asking your child, hey, how did that make you feel? And actually listening to the answer. No interruption. Nothing. Sometimes it's letting your son cry. Sometimes it's letting your daughter say no. Sometimes it's saying no yourself. Sometimes it's choosing not to make your children responsible for your emotions. Sometimes it's refusing to use silence as a punishment. Sometimes it's calling someone and saying, hey, we haven't talked in years, man. I don't even remember why anymore. Let's get together. Nobody may applaud those moments. Nobody may even know they happened. But that's how families change. One different decision, repeated long enough, becomes a different pattern. I need to tell you something else. Changing a family pattern can make people uncomfortable. And I mean very uncomfortable, because when everybody has adapted to the same system, the person who changes can look like the problem. I mean, think about that. If everybody avoids difficult conversations, the person who finally wants to talk looks confrontational. If everybody has terrible boundaries, the person who finally says no looks selfish. If everybody accepts disrespect, the person who refuses it looks difficult. If everybody keeps secrets, the person who tells the truth looks disloyal. Sometimes becoming healthier will change relationships you thought would never change. Not necessarily because you've done something wrong, but because the old version of you fit comfortably into the old system and the new version doesn't. That can hurt. Because you may have imagined that growth would bring everybody closer, and sometimes it does. Sometimes growth reveals just how much a relationship depended on you staying the same. It's a hard realization. You still have a decision to make. You truly do. And I also don't believe changing a pattern requires rejecting where you came from. That's important to me. I love where I come from. I come from some good stock. You can honor your parents and still do a lot of things differently. You can love your grandparents and acknowledge that they didn't get everything right. You can appreciate what your family survived without making survival the permanent operating system of your life. Because maybe the people before you did exactly what they knew how to do. Maybe they got you farther than anybody had gotten before them. And maybe your responsibility isn't to criticize the distance they traveled. Maybe your responsibility is to keep going. Imagine somebody carried something for miles just so you could receive it. Imagine somebody carried something for miles just so you could receive it. You don't honor them by walking backward. You honor them by taking it farther. Maybe your grandparents' victory was surviving. Maybe your father's victory was providing, and maybe yours is learning how to be present. Maybe your grandmother's victory was keeping the family together, and oh, she did. Maybe your mother's victory was giving her children opportunities she never had, and I swear she did. Maybe yours is teaching the next generation that love doesn't require losing yourself. Every generation doesn't have to fight the same battle. That's the point. That's why I keep coming back to the idea of legacy lines. That's why I keep coming back to this idea of legacy lines. Because a legacy isn't just what somebody leaves you, it's what you do with what they left. Some things you'll keep. Keep the resilience. Keep the humor, keep the recipes, keep the stories, keep the faith, keep the work ethic, keep the way everybody shows up when somebody needs help. Keep the things that made your family strong. But everything doesn't deserve another generation. Everything doesn't deserve another generation. Some things you can put down. You can put down the silence, the shame, the grudges nobody remembers the beginning of, the emotional distance, the idea that asking for help makes you weak, the belief that love requires suffering, the fear of saying what you actually feel. You don't have to destroy your family story to change its direction. You really don't. You just have to decide what gets another chapter. So maybe that's you. Maybe you're the last one who doesn't say I love you. Maybe you're the last one who thinks anger is the only emotion you're allowed to show. Maybe you're the last one who stays somewhere because you're afraid of what people will say if you leave. Maybe you're the last one who refuses help. Maybe you're the last one who doesn't apologize. Maybe you're the last one who expects children to carry adult problems. And maybe you're the last one who allows an old family wound to decide who can sit at the same table. You might be the last one. You might be the last one. Not because you're better than everybody who came before you, not because you're stronger or because you figured it out or figured out life, but because when the pattern reached you, you recognized it. And recognition gave you something somebody before you may not ever had. Choice. So here's the question. And it's definitely not, what did your family do wrong? Stop that. I'm going to ask you something better. What does your family deserve to experience differently because you were here? Think about that. Because maybe your contribution to your family's legacy won't be a house. It won't be money. It won't be a business. It won't be your name on a building. Maybe generations from now, somebody will experience a healthier kind of love and they'll never know your name. Maybe they'll communicate differently because you learned how. Maybe they'll feel safe expressing emotions because you made it normal. Maybe they'll know fathers can be present because you were. Maybe they'll know mothers don't have to disappear inside everybody else's needs because you showed them. Maybe they'll know an apology doesn't make you weak. Maybe they'll know asking for help isn't shameful. Maybe they'll know family can disagree and still love each other. And they'll think that's just normal. They may never know that it wasn't always that way. That's legacy. Somebody before you started something worth keeping. Carry it. Somebody before you survived something you never had to experience. Honor it. Somebody before you made mistakes because they didn't know another way. Learn from them. And when something reaches you that has already traveled far enough, You don't have to send it any further. Some things run in families because nobody ever stopped running them. Maybe nobody before them, or before even you, knew they had a choice. But you do. And somebody has to be the last one. If this episode made you think about something your family has carried for a long time, share it with somebody who might recognize their own story in it. And if Legacy Lines has become part of your week, follow the show and stay with me. We're building something here. One story, one reflection, one line at a time. Jay, take care of yourself and take care of each other. Because every life becomes someone else's legacy.